Well, I found a convenient place to sit where a statue would have gone one day. I'm at this church in Wiltshire to look at what is the most incredible and unusual tomb, I believe, in the UK. So that's what we've come to look at, but not just to look at the tomb itself, but to actually try and establish who is in this tomb. Well, you can see the tomb behind me here upon the wall. It's a monastic wall. And the tomb itself, nobody exactly knows when it dates from. But it's very unusual being on the top of the wall. So it's not in the consecrated ground, but it's sort of near it. Now, rumour is, number one, that it's a witch's tomb because she couldn't be buried in the actual churchyard itself. Number two is that it's a wayward monk, a monk who was bunking off in the evenings from his duties and seeing local ladies and drinking and doing all the things that monks used to do. The next one is that it is somebody who'd taken their own life and couldn't be put into consecrated ground. And then there's a big mystery about the whole thing that nobody knows, even if there's any remains in there at all. So by coming here, I'm at Eddington Priory or Eddington Church in Wiltshire. And we're going to have a look and see if we can put any meat on the bones, bit of a weird saying to use when we're talking about a grave, as to who might be in here. And if you look at the walling around it, it looks like the walling has been altered to accommodate that. So I would think that the tomb, more than likely, was put there sometime after the 1300s. There is a grave to an unknown monk, actually in the church itself. So I don't believe it's the monk. The age of the wall is monastic, so 13th century, and it could be dating to that period a little bit after, because the wall could have been built and then this could have been put on there after. And it's quite an ornate structure, as you can see, but very, very unusual. And now, on the 29th of June, 1450, Bishop William Ayscough was doing a mass at this church, and he was ripped out of the church by a mob, led away from the church on a route that we'll have a look at. All his finery was taken, he was murdered, chopped up, and left on a hillside. And we'll follow that route, because I think there could be some credence in this grave containing his remains, if it contains any, because it was the time of Jack Cay's rebellion and people didn't want to be seen to associate with the Bishop of Salisbury after this tragic murder, but they didn't not want him in the church either, so it's a bit of half and half really. So we'll follow that route now, down to the church, and then up from the church to the hill, which is just opposite where he was murdered, and put our thoughts together and see what we think. But it's an incredible place to visit, an absolutely fantastic thing. So we'll move on now to the hill and have a look. Come with me. So the bishop, in the hands of a mob, was taken out of one of the doors of the church, which one we don't know, and led off in this direction. I expect he was traumatised. I expect he was in a state, but we don't know. He was a religious man. Perhaps he'd resigned himself to the fact of his faith that he was going to die. I then cross what is now the road along to the hill on the other side. This area of garden is now called Ralph's Seat, and it's still retained by the church and looked after by them, and there's some lovely benches and things around. It's nestled within the fields, and we follow the track on up towards the hill. As you can see, the local community leaves tributes up here to record the event of the demise of poor Bishop Ayscough, and some local people have their ashes spread here as well. Well, I'm now on the hill where Bishop Ayscough was allegedly chopped to bits, his finery stolen, and he was buried somewhere here, but we don't know if he was buried here. So I think we'll walk on back down and put our thoughts together, actually down on a seat somewhere, and just have a sit and run through my thoughts, I think, on my little visit here. So what are my thoughts on it? On everything that we've seen? I think it possibly could be the remains of William Ayscough, the Bishop of Salisbury. He was a hated character in his time, but in latter years has gained some respect from others. Or it may just be empty. It is a great mystery. So that is the mystery of Wiltshire's tomb. Thank you for watching, and I'd better get off on another adventure, I think.